Muhammad Umar Farooq biological video. Please make sure to subscribe, like and share. Ask the question for answer and comment about the artwork. You can also answer question to each other for solving the problem in the comment below. So here we will discuss about the monocots and dicots, root structure and function. We will also understand the growth of the root, secondary and primary growth. So let's begin to understand first monocot root. So the monocot roots mean the monocotyledons are present in their seed, and that's plants containing mostly herbs. So that's non-woody plant, and no secondary growth take place. While here I am drawing the cross section of the transverse cross section of the root to understand their whole anatomical aspect. So first of all we will discuss about the epidermis. So the epidermis is a wrapping around the cuticle. That cuticle is used for the absorption, as well as the cuticle is used for the prevention of the pathogen. For example, the epidermis is used for the prevention of the pathogen. So here is the epidermis, which that is fungi or algae as well as bacteria or virus will inhibited by this layer, and pathogen is inhibited by the epidermis and prevents to water loss from epidermis is the barrier immunity is also known as well, right? So I hope you make sense. And here is the green color ring. It shows that the endodermis. So the endodermis is the endo mean inside and dermis mean the skin. So derma means skin. So the endodermis is the green color, showing that endodermis is important to cover the all vascular tissue, xylem and phloem inside, while they are inside basically. And between the epidermis and endodermis there is a gap, and gap contain a cortex. This cortical cell is known as the parenchymal cell, and this parenchymal cell is function is stored sugars when we will see under the microscope, and plasmodesmata are present between them is the channel. So this plasmodesmata is used for the transportation of sugar as well as water. So that is the slit-like structure is known as the plasmodesmata. While here we will discuss about the basically here is the soil particle, which that is coated with the film of water, and that water is absorbed from the epidermis to the cortex. So here is when go into the epidermis, and that is the active transport. Why? Because mineral is also used to absorb. So active transport is, that is why it is inside is the more constriction of mineral and water, while the outside. So the energy is used against the osmotic gradients or gradient constriction. So let's here we will discuss about the endodermis. So the symplast pathway is used to cell wall to cell wall movement of water. While going into the endodermis, here is the Casparian strip in the endodermis. This waxy strip is not allowed to symplast pathway, but apoplast pathway will be changed. So the apo mean the cytoplasm to cytoplasm pathway. So the movement of water from the cytoplasm to cytoplasm. So that is the symplast pathway, and it is the endodermis and contain a pit or porine. So here is the basically suberin, which that is the waxy layer it is known as, and that is deposition of waxy layer and prevent to basically hydrophobic. So that's water will be not enter. So that means it change the apoplast pathway. Apoplast pathway is the cytoplasmic pathway also known, while the symplast pathway is the cellulose to cellulose, cell wall to cell wall pathway, and vacuolar pathway is also used for it. So that means water will be absorbed and move into the endodermis, and here is the pericycle is present inside is the red color show. This pericycle is important. Pericycle basically function is produce lateral roots for increase the surface area by cell division. So it is the tube-like structure is basically the tubular xylem and phloem, which that's grow by the growth of the pericycle. So let's begin to understand the how to produce lateral root. So the first of all we should understand that is the pericycle. So the pericycle I am drawing here just so for understanding. So here is the soil which are embedded the pericycle. I am not drawing just I am drawing the just pericycle, not drawing the epidermis, endodermis, etc. So the pericycle contain a vascular tissue. Vascular tissue is known as xylem and phloem. So these outgrowth is look like this, and this is the cross section, and it means the lateral root will be bud will be create, and the central root is a here, while so the ray will be produced, and this ray is the xylem and phloem growth out, and it means the lateral growth will be developed. So this like structure, but that diagram which that is I had previously drawn, that is the basically cross section of the root. So I hope you make sense about this concept. So just understanding I am drawing this diagram. So we will discuss about the pericycle to inside movement. So the growth of the root is toward the endodermis, toward the cortex, and cortex to the basically inside is the endodermis, pericycle, and basically xylem and phloem. Basically xylem is inside and phloem is the outside, so a phloem to xylem. So here is the vascular tissue, which that is the monocot roots. I am drawing is not good, but you can understand the ground tissue or vascular tissue is dispersed here and there. So you should understand here is the basically here is the inside is the orange color is the xylem, while the outer is the phloem. So the phloem is the red color and xylem is the orange color, while inside is the green color shows that the primary xylem and ultimately make a pith, while the secondary xylem is not present. So it means the primary xylem are present and primary phloem. Why? Because monocot root is developed just primary growth. So that's important things. We will discuss about the secondary growth in the dicot woody plants, so we can clear our concept. So here is I am drawing the secondary growth in dicot woody plant. So the dicot root is here, which that is the basically longitudinal cross section of the root, which contain a root cap. In the end are apex of the root. So the apical meristem are present in the root cap, which are used for the invasion into the soil and movement of the root through the root cap, because root cap is more highly rigid as compared to the root. So here is the movement and absorption region of root is here, while here is the older mature root are present, that is the previous absorptive region was, but here is the basically we will discuss just to understand the development of the procambium. So here is the procambium is xylem and phloic procambium, which that develop the xylem and phloem. So it is the basically previous near to the cap, and it is change or differentiation and proliferation of the primary xylem and primary phloem, and cambium is present in here, which that is brown color, and inside is the xylem and outside is the primary phloem. So ridges are present in the xylem. These ridges, on the basis of these ridges we can classify the structure of the root cross section. So later on we will discuss also, but we should understand just first of all the secondary growth. So here is the primary growth was, but here is the secondary growth. So the endodermis is here and epidermis, pericycle are present, and primary xylem and secondary xylem are present, while the secondary phloem and secondary xylem is present. So here is the basically a high green color shows that the primary phloem, while the A light green color shows that the secondary phloem, while inside is the brown color shows that the primary xylem. Inside is the primary xylem is the black color, while the brown color is shows that the secondary xylem. So the secondary xylem is move outer to inward, while the primary xylem will remain inside. It means it's create a pith between the xylem. So you can understand. So this is the secondary growth in dicot, and di mean two cotyledons are present, and that plant is a woody plant. So here is the xylem. This xylem is basically xylem and phloem. So inside is the xylem vessel and trachea, while the outside is the phloem. Phloem is used for the conduction of food source to sink region. For example, the photosynthesis in the leaf toward the fruit deposition of the sugar. So that is why the phloem is important, while the xylem is used for the conduction of water absorption from the root toward the photosynthesis region. For example, in the leaf and fruit. So the phloem is used for the food conduction, while the xylem is used for the absorption of mineral and water from the active transport from the soil. So here I am drawing the secondary growth containing cross section of the root is known as the dicot. So the dicotyledon seed plants herb and herb is not, but some herb, but shrubs and tree is important for it. So the dicotyledon. So here is the epidermis contain a cuticle, and endodermis is the green color shows that, while inside is the pericycle. So the pericycle is important to produce basically pericycle is important to cover and produce a lateral root. So it means the development of the pericycle with containing a xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem is produced from the cambium. So that's the cambium is the basically cambium ring is used for the stem cell, is used as a stem cell. So here is the ring star-like structure is known as the cambium. This cambium is basically able to reproduce, able to produce, basically able to differentiate into the xylem and phloem. While xylem move inside, it is divided to move inside, while the phloem is moved outside. So the cambium ring is here, and the hair inside is moved the xylem. Ultimately the primary xylem will move inside to become a pith also, but the secondary xylem is wrapping around the primary xylem, and xylem contain ridges, and this ridges is basically star-like or multiple ridges are present, while the hair is the green color shows the phloem. Phloem is developed outer side, so the outer side is developed, while here is the cortex. Cortex is the region which contain a parenchymal cell between the epidermis and endodermis. So that means basically the parenchymal cell is used for the water conduction from the epidermis toward the endodermis as well as into the xylem when after that things. So here is a basically parenchymal cell are present in the cambium ring. So this cambium ring contain these are inactive till the start of secondary growth in root. When secondary growth will be start, so that meristematic remnants of the procambial strands will be occur. So that means during the secondary growth, this cambium ring will be show and produce the secondary xylem and secondary phloem. So that is here is the green color shows high green color shows the primary xylem, while the white region which that is I am not drawing is the secondary phloem. Secondary phloem and primary phloem. So I am drawing the primary phloem. So let's talk about on the basis of ridges to understand the cross section of the root by the basis of xylem and phloem arrangement. So here is the diarch. Diarch means the two arches are present in the region. It means that two sides the phloem and one is the xylem. So on the basis of xylem arrangement, here's the diarch ridges are present. It means the two ridges, while the lateral roots are developed from this region. And here is the triarch. Triarch means the three ridges, and protoxylem poles are present is here, and metaxylem is inside. So it means tetrarch is also produced, the four ridges of the xylem, and polyarch means the many ridges are present and flowing. You can watch this video again to understand. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe the channel and give the suggestion.